question quick,
Yeah.
because you mentioned something about the humbleness of leaders. And I talk about leadership and work-life harmony everywhere. And as a leader, it is so great, and people feel when you are one of them. You're one of the guys, one of the girls, one
Right.
of the women, one of the front line. However, not everyone outside of you may feel that way. And sometimes, and I can imagine that leadership can be very lonely, and people don't talk a lot about that. So can you share a tip? Because as a pastor, I'm sure when you come around, sometimes people kind of straightened up. Do I feel I need to be a certain way? I can't really be myself. I can't say these things. And I know that you have done a great job of allowing people to be just how they are and interacting, engaging, and loving even through all of that, which is phenomenal. But it doesn't stop how they feel. So from a standpoint of a leader's loneliness, how would you suggest leaders, whether it's in the church or somewhere else, uh, address that within themselves?
That's a great question. So when you say that, one of the things I would do to try to combat that was even just how I address myself. I didn't address myself as tell people I was pastor. I didn't even bring that up in conversation unless somebody asked, what do you do for a living?
Mm.
Because sometimes when people hear that, like you said, they straighten up. They're like, oh, I said a curse word or whatever. And I'm like, just be yourself. Like, I'm not here to like cast judgment on you kind of thing. And so like, I remember growing up that the pastor of the church I went to, I was out at the store with him once. We were out, I think we were on a youth activity or something. We were out somewhere and he introduced himself. Somebody at the store met him and he introduced himself as Pastor so-and-so. Now, he was a really nice guy, and I'm not saying he had bad intentions or anything like that, but he introduced himself as Pastor so-and-so, and I watched that person, like, first of all, he's meeting somebody in the supermarket that he doesn't know. And he introduced himself with his first name, Pastor. First of all, he's not their pastor. And, and that person immediately was like, oh, that's kind of weird, like that you just introduced me as that. But I was like, just use like, I'm in my mind as a teenager, I'm thinking, just use your first name.
Right.
So what I found is that's one of the ways I did it. But then also, no matter what you do, what profession you do, whether you're a pastor or you're a doctor, like doctors can be intimidating to some people because, you're super smart, you're helping tons of people. You have that's a big role in people's lives you play. And I think no matter what your profession is, it always carries with it something like that. So for me, you just got to know that that's going to come with the territory of whatever your job is. And then you also have to push through it. Just push through it and be your authentic self. Be who you are, and eventually people will see that. But you got to understand that there's sometimes no way to overcome the fact that I was a pastor, and people were eventually going to find out. And so I just wanted.
And it's important that you said you didn't lead with it, because the tip and the nugget that I'm getting, and any one of you guys listening that are in professional positions of leadership, what Jon mentioned was you don't have to lead with your title. And so many times I feel like when people are first promoted or we get our first whiff of success, we want to lead with that. We want to tell everybody. However, it can wind up impacting the relationship before they even start. So you're saying, look, lead with your name, lead with who you are, allow them to be who they are. And when your title comes up, they're even more impressed, to be honest with you.